everybody, I'm Alyce-Kay Reckelhaus from The Widow Reckelhaus and Threshold of Hanani. The third time that I'm trying to make this recording. Oh my word! I don't know what's going wrong, but my camera isn't working well or something, my phone. So hopefully this time it'll work. Anyway, this is going to be a different video, and I realized I should have done this back a couple of days into making this journal. It's just something that I automatically do. I've never seen anybody do a video explaining this or anything. And so I thought, since this is for beginners, that you might really appreciate seeing this, because this is something that's really helped me in my journal making. And if you're not a beginner, you can probably get some ideas from this too, or write some of your ideas below to share with people. So what I do, what I'm talking about, is I shop my craft room. And there's a few reasons for that. One is so that I can use the things that are in my craft room. You know, we all go and we buy, or we're given a lot of different things, and we have so much that we're not actually using. And so, if I'm going around every time that I make a new journal, which I make probably 1 or 2 a month, is I go around and I look at everything in my craft room. And so I'm reminded about stuff that I have, and I actually use the stuff that way, and I use a variety of stuff. And I also find things that I go, you know what, I'm never going to use this, and so I find somebody else to give it to, or give it to the thrift store, or throw it away, you know, whatever is appropriate. So another reason that I like to do it is because I have found that a journal ties together better if you don't have like 5 million different things that you're using. Okay, like you can see my ribbons here, and I'll show you these more thoroughly in a few minutes, but I don't want to have more than like 15 different kinds of ribbons. You're going to use ribbon for a lot of stuff. You're going to use it for page decorations, for envelopes and tags and stuff. You're going to use it for the pull on tags and everything. So you're going to use a lot of it, but you want to use each one at least a couple times, and probably more throughout your book, and that just ties it all together. So it's good to pick those out ahead of time and figure out what you're doing. The other thing is that it just really helps to have it all close at hand. I'm not having to get up and go, oh, I want a note card, or oh, I want some more lace, and try to hunt it down. It's just all here, so that when I'm working on a journal, I can just work on it, and it's just more fun that way. It's not as frustrating, and it's also easier when I'm finished to go and put all the stuff away, because I've done that. So did I talk about this? Because I've done this 3 times, I can't remember if I've already talked about it. So when do I shop? Let's just talk about that a little bit here. So this is a journal that we've already worked in some, and we've put some of the things in, but I shopped for my stuff before that. So I found that it doesn't work as well to do it before you start completely. I like to do it after I've chosen all my pages, but it's not bound, and I've put the lace on the edges. Then I have a good idea of what I'm going to do, and I usually will flip through and just look at the pages before I go around my craft room and look for what I'm going to use. I'm going to go ahead and put this aside because I want to have space here. Okay, so let's just talk first of all about some of the tools that we want to have handy. I like to get out my scissors, and I don't necessarily choose which ones I'm going to use, and I may not use any of them, but I like to have them close at hand so that I can find them when I want them. The other thing that I like to have is my glue, and I have 2 different glue sticks. I use the Yoo-Hoo stick for things that I really, really want this to be the only thing that's going to hold them on. The Elmer's works pretty good for that too, actually. I'm surprised at how good it is, but I guess I have a prejudice against it because it says washable school glue, so I think it's not going to last as well. And so I'll use this for what I call basting, just like putting things down before I sew it, or before I really put things in place. So I want to have both of those out, and then I want to have my Crafter's Pick Ultimate Glue, and I will link all of those things below. I'll try to link as much of this stuff as I can for you, so that if you want to get those, you can. And then I try to keep my glue upside down, so I have it in a little basket on the side, so it's upside down so that it will always flow well. And then I keep this on my desk all the time. This never gets put away because I use it constantly. This is my corner rounder thingy. a corner punch, I think is what it's called. And I'm paranoid, so I'm looking to see if it's still running, if the camera is still running. I like this one because it has 3 different sides. I got this just like, I don't know, a month or so ago, and I have used it so freaking much. So that's why it stays on my desk. Then I also will choose 1, maybe 2 edge punches, but I don't want to choose a whole bunch of edge punches because, again, I want to have some consistency to tie it together. I use these on the edges of pages, on envelopes, on pockets, on all kinds of things. I'm going to show you exactly how to use this in one of the videos because we tend to buy these things and then have no clue how to use it. And it took me a long time to figure out how to use this because people just use these, and I haven't seen a video where they actually like show you how to use it. And it is, there is a good way to use it. And if you have other ideas and stuff for how to use this that I'm missing, please let me know, because now I have it, I think, pretty well down. But if you have an easier way, I would always appreciate that. So I am going to have it in a video where I'm working on things, and I'm going to use this and show you exactly how to do that. Okay, so another thing that I like to get is I have a few of Tim Holtz's little, I don't know what you call these, phrase sticker books. Some of them are black with white writing, some are white with black writing. This one has more of a pinkish tinge, pink and beige. So I really like this for working on like the journal that we're doing right now, which has a lot of pink and it has some black in it. And so that's really good. I also like this for ones that are like brown and beige and black and white, kind of with some pink and everything. That's just perfect for that. So got that. And I'll show you how to use these too, because there's a lot of different ways that you can use them, and I just love them, and I think that they make the journal really fun. Okay, so another thing that I do is I often get books at the Dollar Tree. This is like a set, and no, this isn't from a set. This one was just one of a kind, but they have one set that I recently got that was the fruit of the spirit. Each one is about, you know, like love, joy, peace, patience, and so on. And so that's kind of cool. This one had a lot of pink, and I'm really into pink lately for some reason. I didn't used to like pink. So like this journal that we're doing has a lot of pink. And I can use these pages, or I can just cut out the saying. But these are just the right colors for this journal. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not, but I thought I would just get it out in case. And then I did decide to go ahead and get a few book pages out of a book that I bought at the Dollar Tree specifically for tearing up. I'm not sure if I'll use these, but because there are some pages that have black and white, I thought that using like book pages might be good to have on the opposite page that doesn't have black to kind of coordinate those together. So I might use those. I do have, though, these pages that I will definitely use. They're from this coloring book that a friend of mine got on clearance for me, and it's frozen. So there's obviously some images that I'm probably not going to use. Let me move these so that they're not in our way. Okay, and so like this one, I like this side with the black on it, and this side is really pretty too. So I could use either side of that, or I could use it like for a corner flip that you open up and you see the white inside. And then this page, oh, and I have my white paint pens just in case I want to use those on something dark like this, okay, or even on some black paper. And then I chose this page. I can't use this side because it's got the girls from Frozen. I don't know what their names are. I've never watched it. But this side is pretty good. There's a lot of snowflake stuff in it, and this one does have snowflakes, but it doesn't look totally wintry. It looks almost kind of Danish. So I thought that would be really good to use in it too. And then I have my paper clips, and these 3 colors will be great for this journal. So I'll probably use some of these as well. Okay, then the fun thing, the really, really fun part of shopping my my dog food recipe. I was looking for that. The really fun part of shopping my craft room is looking for buttons and yarn and ribbon. So this is some yarn from my husband. He was a knitter by profession. He and his late wife had a lot of, they had a really cool business knitting sweaters for like Ralph Lauren and Bill Blass and Perry Ellis and French Creek and stuff like that. And then they started their own business in Maryland. When they were doing that for the designers, it was their own business too. But they started a new business in Maryland where they just knit for people. And some of them were custom orders, and some were, they had inventory that people could buy and stuff. So this was some of his yarn. He retired just a couple months before he died. He died July 2 years ago, and he had retired in May from knitting. So there's like a ton of yarn, which I'm probably going to end up giving a lot to the thrift store, unless I can, I don't know, find people who want it or something. But it's not like yarn that that you think of. It's like little threads, and these ones here, this one is one that he's spun all these strands together. So this is the right color for that. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on and on about that. So this is the right color for the book, and I'll probably use that like with buttons or something like that. One of the things when he retired is he gave me his collection of buttons. So I have quite a few buttons. These used to be full, when he first got them, but there's just a little bit left of each one. But these are the right colors that I would use for this particular journal. So I got those out. And then, I have so much ribbon, you guys, you wouldn't believe it. And that's why I have to choose what I'm going to use. Okay, so, and I probably should arrange these by color and stuff. But anyway, I'm not going to. I guess all the greens right here together. So I have this and the peach and this color of gauzy ribbon. You know what? Let's go ahead and arrange this a little bit while we're talking here. And so, I like to, if I have one type of ribbon, if I have different colors that will work in that book, I like to have more than one color of that kind of ribbon. So these are all the gauzy kind of see-through ribbons. Okay, and then I have a couple of grosgrain ribbons here. I've got pink and I've got green. And then I guess this is the only satin ribbon that I have. And I have some sparkly ribbon here. I have black. This is the only black one that I got out. I have lots of different black ribbons because I love black. But there's a lot of black in this book, so I wanted to have some ribbon. And then I've got also this pink thin ribbon. I've got some yarn that's on this thing here. And I've got these two burlap. Okay, so what this is it's wired on the sides, and I don't want to have that wire in my journal, so I'm going to show you how I take the wire out really, really easily. And the reasons I don't like to have it in there is because, for one thing, it's really stiff, and then it makes it hard to write on the page above, and also those wires are really sharp and they can really hurt you. So I take those out ahead of time. And then I have this ribbon that my friend Yuri gave me. She gave me a collection of a whole bunch of pink. And I think that's the only, this might be from her too, I'm not sure. But I think this is the only one of hers that I'm using in this particular book. I really love that. And then this one I got in a set of 12 or 20 or something different colors. And it's polyester, which I really prefer cotton, but some of these are polyester too. I don't know how well you can see this, but I usually cut down the center, so I have double, I don't know how many yards this is, 20 or something, but so that would give me 40 yards. Sometimes I use the whole width, but usually it's too wide, so I cut that straight in half there. It's very easy to cut and to get it straight. Then I also have some buttons that I got from a shop in China that I am not going to put a link for because I bought some other things from them that I was very unhappy with. So I wouldn't recommend shopping with them. I mean, really, really unhappy with. And then this. Okay, I've done a review on a whole bunch of her pouches. I have some of them here, and some of them are in other places because of another journal that I'm working on, so I've got these out. But it's called All Fibered Up. That's the name of her, All Fibered Up. It's the name of her shop on Etsy, and I'll put a link below, and I'll also put a link to my video reviewing this on my other channel. This one is called Petals in Spring. So it has a whole bunch of different fibers that are coordinated, and these are just the perfect colors for my book. So I'll use a few of these. I won't use all of them, but I'll use a little bit of some of them. So those are the things that I've collected and gotten out. I wanted to mention one other thing while we're kind of on this hodgepodge thing here. This is a new channel. I have a whole bunch of crafting videos on my other channel. My other channel was kind of a mixture of Bible and crafting and a few other things, and it was just too confusing for people. So I recently started a crafting channel, which is what you're watching right now. But I have a whole bunch of journals where I show you all the way through. Some of them are for beginners and some of them are not. Some of them are design team and some are not. And so if you want to look for more journaling stuff, you can go over there. So I'll put a link to that channel. I'll put a link to this on that channel as well. I think that's it. Hopefully this recorded all the way through. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say about it is that another reason that I like shopping my craft room like this is because when I'm done, it's so much easier to just put this all away. And then I'm ready for my next journal. I'm usually doing a couple or maybe even 3 journals at one time, so I have several things out, and it really helps to have it all in a basket. Oh yeah, I was going to say I limit myself when I'm shopping for my ribbons and stuff. I limit myself to a basket, and I usually can manage to stick pretty much with that for these kinds of things, and then I have, you know, the other things out separately. But it really does make cleanup a whole lot easier when you've got things in a basket like this and you're, you know, looking forward to getting ready for your next journal. So after this, we'll go ahead and we'll work in the next videos on our journal. And yeah, I think that's it. When I'm doing journals that aren't quite so coordinated, I do go through, like I said, I have like hymnals and music books and anatomy books and physician's drug book and just all kinds of stuff like that, stamps and things. Oh yeah, I'll get out like my stamps like these. I was thinking of postage stamps when I just said stamps, but I'll get out those stamps and stencils and paint and anything else that I might want to use. I'm not using those things on this, I don't think, so I haven't gotten them out. What I do get out later, just because I don't want to have too much stuff right here on my desk. It's not that my desk is all neat. It's actually very cluttered, but right around me, I want to have the things that I'm working on. I have all my bookbinding stuff in one little cute box, and I will show that to you and explain what all I have in that when we get to that point. And then I also have little safety pins that are in a little box and charms that I have a whole drawer full of different kinds of charms, and I'll show you those when we get to that point too. I don't pick out those things, and I don't pick out what I'm going to use to bind this with usually until I'm ready to do that. I don't even know what I'm going to have for the cover. This isn't the cover. Probably not anyway. It could be because it's pretty sturdy paper, but I don't think that's going to be the cover. So I haven't chosen like a fabric or paper or whatever I'm going to use for the cover yet. I sometimes do that before I even start working on a journal, and sometimes I wait until the whole journal's done and figure out what do I want to have for the cover, what would really work. So just kind of depends. Whoa, oh gosh, I almost knocked it all over. This other journal that I'm working on at the same time here, this one, I started out with the cover on this, and that's what gave me the idea for the whole rest of the journal. And it's more of a grungy one, so it has a lot of different things in it. It's not quite as well coordinated. So anyway, I think that's it. If you have any questions, like I said, I have never seen anybody do a video like this. So there may be questions that you have. Oh, there was one other thing that I have. There we go. It got put under some other things. I had a sheet of these that I thought would be really nice for bling, and I've used a few of them in here already. So, and you've seen me use them, I think. So, yeah, that was one of the other things that I got. And that doesn't mean that I can't go get other things from other parts of my craft room. I can, but I don't have to. So, I think that's it for this video, and then we'll get back to working on our journal. All right, I love you all. Mwah. Thank you so much for being patient. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.